Welcome back to Autoimmune Adventures. The holidays sparkle with color. Red sugar cookies, red candy canes, glittering treats, frosted cupcakes. It's festive, it's magical, and it's a whole lot of fun to look at.
But here's the thing, for those of us that are living with autoimmune disease or other chronic illness, those colors can come at a cost. Artificial dyes and added sugars, funky preservatives in all the processed holiday treats. They might look festive and merry, but they can trigger inflammation, they can trigger flares, and they can cause fatigue.
So today we're going to ask a really empowering question. How do we keep all the fun and magic of holiday colors without the fallout? And the answer is simple and beautiful. We bring the color back to where it belongs, nature.
Exactly. So we're going to be looking at fruits, veggies, spices, herbs. Nature's palette is every bit as bright and far more nourishing, honestly. And we're going to show you how to create stunning festive holiday color in your food, drinks, decor, and celebrations without a single artificial dye.
And before we dive into recipes and creative ideas, we want to bring in a bit of insight from our friend Hannah Birch, whose full episode aired October 28th of this year. She's been navigating a red dye sensitivity that so many people with autoimmune illness can relate to.
Hannah couldn't join us today for filming, but she shared something with us that's worth talking through. She herself noticed several years back she was having trouble with her digestion and other issues that she and her doctor recognized. She has, along with her rheumatoid arthritis, she also has autoimmune hepatitis, which kind of came because of her other autoimmune problems. And her doctor recognized that she was having issues with her liver. Red dye is also a really bad culprit for anybody who has kidney issues, especially if you're having dialysis. But for her, the red dye, and not even in her case, it's not just red dye, it's also like red foods like tomatoes and apples and things can actually cause problems and inflame her liver. And so these are just some things to be aware about. Obviously, not everybody has the same inflammatory issues or chronic illnesses, but we all get excited about our green and red dyes at Christmas time, or even, whether you're into Hanukkah, the blues, the yellows, like all of these artificial dyes, they really can cause some problems and wreak some havoc from an inflammation level. And so we want to look out for those. And we're going to show you some ways to do that.
As a quick side note, let's bring attention to red 40. That's the one that seems to be everywhere, especially during the holidays when everything is red and green. You're going to find it in cupcakes and cookies and punch bowls and frosting and candy and all over the place. So it's a sneaky one, and that seems to be one that is a major, like up there high on the trigger list for people, right?
And here's another important part you need to think about. Artificial dyes are immune irritants, and they cause inflammation. They can trigger histamine reactions in your body, which we don't need any help with that with autoimmunity. They even disrupt our gut balance. And we are already running through what I feel like is a maze of triggers during the holidays. So if it's something we can easily avoid, it's something that we should avoid. So for anyone with autoimmune disease where your immune system is already overwhelmed, a little bit of dye can actually push you into a flare.
And Hannah shared with us, she learned some simple swaps. And just in her case, for some people, they can actually do natural red. She can't do natural red even. So she has to substitute red entirely. And she finds other ways to bring color into it. I mean, it sounds funny because some people wouldn't think of it as color, but white is great this time of year in this season for snow. And she talks about how even if it's the family's ordering out pizza, they make sure they order her one with white sauce. So she finds ways to exchange those out. And so there's options.
And I think it's important this time of year to have options, to have choices, because we don't want to feel excluded from the festivities or the beautiful food. And so today's episode honors that journey, because we all have to figure out what we can eat safely during the holidays. So festive, colorful, joyful, and most importantly, autoimmune friendly.
So let's talk about why natural color actually matters, because color isn't just pretty, it can actually be healing.
We're going to break it down by color group because each color brings its own nutrients in nature, antioxidants, and immune support. So the first one, I know we were just talking about the problems with red dye, but if you can eat naturally red foods that do not have red dye in them but come naturally, like strawberries, pomegranates, cranberries, beets, you can do fun things with them. Strawberries can be Santa hats. You can make red glazes. You can do beet hummus. The benefits of all of these are their powerful antioxidants and anti-inflammatory support.
And then for green foods, we think about things like spinach and kale, herbs and pistachios, avocado. These are all things that are nourishing to our body and bring that beautiful pop of green. So making a wreath salad or green dips. Everybody loves dips at Christmas time, guacamole, spinach artichoke dip, things like this. Roasted veggie platters, fresh veggie platters. So the benefits of these green foods are that they help us detox. They're supportive to our immune system, and they have really grounding nutrients in them. And nothing says Christmas like green and leafy to me.
Then let's talk for a minute about yellow foods to get that golden starry glow in our lives. And things that are great to eat in December: pineapple, corn, yellow peppers. Turmeric is always going to be really good for you, and it's extremely anti-inflammatory. You can use them for roasted veggies. One of my favorite things to eat during the holidays is roasted root vegetables. They're extremely nourishing and they're delicious, especially if you take some turmeric and some other spices and herbs and toss them with some olive oil. It's beautiful. You've also got things like spice nuts, and they make for really bright sides, nice bright colors, like a bright yellow or orange pepper can make a huge difference in a salad and kind of liven it up.
Have you ever seen the turkey veggie tray that some like Pinterest moms? This is not me. Pinterest moms who do the little turkey veggie tray, and they have like all the different veggies of different colors looking like the turkey tail. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And it's all so good for you.
Yellow foods are great for mood and energy boost. That's the reason why they're so important during the holidays. People are prone to having a difficult time keeping their moods high and happy when they're struggling with their autoimmune disease. So yellow foods are good for giving you that extra boost and giving you a little energy.
Maybe some less traditional holiday colors, but ones that are still great if you like to have a colorful palette are orange foods like carrots, citrus, pumpkin, and sweet potatoes. They are great this time of year in soups. Glazed root vegetables like carrots. I love me some glazed carrots, honestly. And you don't have to, I know traditionally a lot of times glazed carrots are made, a lot of times people do them with sugar. You can do them instead with like maple syrups or even date sugars or things that don't spike your blood sugar. There's some really great options and they still taste wonderful. And we looked one up, roasted citrus. I don't know if anyone here has tried that one, but I have heard good things about that as well.
I love roasted citrus. Roasting oranges and then using the juice from the roast, it's delicious. It's
I've never considered roasting citrus. I have had roasted pineapple, and that is delicious. Yeah. So I guess roasted citrus isn't that crazy, but I've never heard of it. I'm intrigued. I'll give it a try.
Yeah, but all of these for orange ones, the vitamin A is pretty prevalent in all of these, which is great for immune support.
So moving on through the rainbow, that leaves us with purple foods. And so those are the things like grapes and blueberries, red cabbage. You can find red potatoes. You can find, purplish red potatoes. You can get red and purple, and carrots even come in purple. So those are also beautiful on platters, charcuterie boards, winter fruit platters, and that beautiful, deep, rich purple is so good for our brains and for our hearts. Purple foods are usually fairly high in antioxidants. So even if you're not going to eat all these things, you can use them to bring color. Like, we encourage you to eat the rainbow.
Finally, on our little trek through the colors, we're going to finish up with white. You have cauliflower, coconut, pears. They're all wonderful for you for very different reasons. You can use them for snowy toppings. You can make mock whipped cream with coconut cream that is really delicious. You can make creamy dips. I love pears at Christmas. I love all the different kinds of, like, spike them with cloves and steam them. If you like to steam them in alcohol, or apple cider is delicious. There's lots of beautiful ways that you can do it. And the great thing about white foods is that they have a lot of gut-friendly fiber. The pears, the coconut, the cauliflower, they're all very fibrous, and they're all very good for your gut.
As we've seen going through this, nature has already given us a beautiful color palette to work with, and we just have to use it.
Right. So it doesn't have to be complicated. You could try doing something to color your frosting, maybe use beet powder, or you could try a pomegranate glaze. I've even done raspberries. I've cooked raspberries down and strained out the seeds, and I have used that, and that is a brilliant red. It's a beautiful red. So there are things you can do. You might have to put a little more work into it.
And instead of green icing dye, you can use matcha or spinach juice or crushed pistachios. And I know spinach juice sounds gross, but honestly, if you put a little flavoring in, it goes a long way, is what I'm saying.
It doesn't have much of a taste to it, really.
Yeah, it really doesn't. When you take the fiber out of the spinach, really all you have is green water. So it doesn't change the flavor very much. But crushed pistachios can make something truly beautiful and a lovely vivid green.
So we wanted to talk about actual foods that, practical ones that are easy recipes that you could maybe try this holiday season yourself. And so each of us, we're going to talk about one of our favorite, more autoimmune friendly drinks, as well as foods.
Let's talk about actual food that you would want to eat, not just something that's healthy, but food that tastes good and is going to be a hit. So the dishes that we love to make this time of year, right? Most of them aren't the healthiest, but we have some that are healthy, good choices, beautiful. So what's yours, Stace?
I really like having a red and green holiday fruit board. So I will get strawberries and kiwis, mint, and then a drizzle of dark chocolate. I love me some good dark chocolate. It's simple and it's bright and it's gorgeous and it's healthy. Even the chocolate, because it's dark chocolate. So that's one of my favorite simple and easy things to do. So I have actually two drinks that I really enjoy at this time of year. The first one is a chocolate drink that is made by Lakanto, which does monk fruit sweetener. And it's a dark chocolate cocoa that is sweetened with monk fruit. So it doesn't have that sugar trigger in it. And I know that a lot of people like cocoa at this time of year. There's something about sitting and looking at the lights and drinking cocoa. But I also am a huge advocate for fresh pressed apple cider. And you can usually find that in your grocery stores, or if you're lucky and you live near an apple orchard, you can probably find it there as well. But the nice thing about fresh pressed is that, or even just, whole apple cider, is that even though there is sugar content, it's not the kind of sugar content that will trigger you unless you're diabetic. So be careful if you're diabetic, try the Lakanto instead. But those are my two favorite drinks at this time of year, and they don't trigger me because they don't have anything in them to trigger.
This time of year, one of my favorite dishes to make is candy jams. And I will admit, growing up, we had the extremely non-healthy version with excessive amounts of butter and lots of brown sugar. In recent years, as I have tried to significantly cut down on my processed sugar, I have found that I will cook up my sweet potatoes and blend them, mash them. And sometimes I use milk when I'm mashing them. And sometimes you can use like a plant-based milk, coconut milk, whatever works for you, depending on what you tolerate. But instead of using a ton of brown sugar, I use date sugars. You can also use Swerve that has they have a brown sugar variety that won't spike your blood sugar, but I kind of like the date sugars, and I love adding real maple syrup because that just makes it taste great. I will admit the one part that still has sugar, I usually do like to, especially, I can eat it without the marshmallows, but when I'm making it for Thanksgiving or Christmas and we have guests or whatever, most of them like to have the marshmallows. But the thing that I found is even people who don't have any of the dietary restrictions and, would be totally fine with having tons of sugar and butter in the sweet potatoes, they do okay with it too. And they love it. So we will share all these recipes with you in our show notes. And my personal favorite drink is I like to make this time of year, I like to make herbal teas. And some of my favorites are just honestly like a basic mint tea, or I love Celestial Seasonings Bengal Spice. It's super delicious. When I'm craving hot cocoa, because I do try to limit my sugar, my solution instead is to add a little bit of hot cocoa to my tea. And that's like doing the creamer / sweetener in my tea. And that way I'm getting significantly less sugar. I feel like I'm getting that cocoa treat, but it is so much better for me than it would be otherwise.
Yum. I have never tried that. I'm totally going to have to try that. That sounds so good.
I love cocoa tea. With the Lakanto, it's like my favorite thing in the whole world. I take Bengal spice, I steep it, and then I add just like a heaping teaspoon of the Lakanto hot cocoa. And
I can see my peppermint tea being really good with cocoa. That sounds delicious. I might try that tonight because it is a cocoa and herbal tea kind of night tonight in Minnesota. Yeah. I'm in short sleeves, but I'm like, burr. We're supposed to get 6 to 10 inches of snow this week.
Wow.
So I love me some winter drinks and some holiday drinks. I am the drink girl. I have for church occasions and for family occasions and parties, I have made mocktails and sparkly water infusions and mixtures. And most of the time, I've got to be honest, most of the time they're not healthy. I'm just going to be straight up honest about that, guys. Most of the time they're not. They are made with soda and they are made with syrups. What I do love is that you can get, now we live in a world where you can now get sodas and syrups made with sweeteners that aren't going to mess up your gut health and aren't going to spike your sugar. They are spike like your blood sugar levels. But be aware, they're not cheap, right? And you have to really be good at reading your labels this time of year. They're not cheap, but you can get them it's a treat. Remember, it's a treat. We're not doing this year round. This is a special occasion. It's a treat. So, and you don't have to, you could just use sparkling water, right? And you can infuse it with fruit. The cranberry and like lime I love lime to use in drinks. It goes so well with so many things. A little shot of citrus, just maybe something a little herbal, like a branch of rosemary even, just gives something a totally different depth of flavor. So, and there's fun flavor combinations. You kind of find those out, like blueberry and mint. Blueberry mint is so good together. I like to also add a little lemon to that. But anyway, drinks can be really fun. You do have to put more work into them. They might be a little more expensive if you're going to try and do them the healthy way, which we encourage. But that is a really fun way to bring a beautiful, festive pop of color and something fun to your table. So I don't know that I could pick a favorite drink. I've been pretty dairy free. I love my chocolate, my hot chocolate, but I've been pretty dairy free for a lot of years now. And so I can't do those pre-made mixes, which is okay because they're all full of sugar. But I have found that the Starbucks cocoa is lower in sugar, and it is very dark. So I am a milk chocolate girl. I love dark chocolate too, but it's not like milk chocolate. But I can enjoy a cup of Starbucks hot cocoa and feel like I am getting a little bit of a treat. So there's options for us. And I'm also not going to tell you don't have one drink, because sometimes you just want that one glass of eggnog, that you just have to have a glass of eggnog every season. And I am that girl. I will be buying my dairy-free eggnog, and I will be really angry at anybody who drinks it because it's mine and I get it once a year. So drink your regular eggnog and leave my dairy-free eggnog alone. I'm calling all of my kids out right now, and my husband. So anyway, that's what I love for drinks. For food, we have several that we really love. Cowboy caviar is a big hit at our house. The trick is you got to get some tortilla chips that aren't going to be standard tortilla chips, although they are the most delicious with cowboy caviar, are not the best choice. There are grain-free options now that are actually quite delicious. And the cowboy caviar has enough flavor in it that you're not going to miss a corn chip. Okay. But it's beans, it's avocado, it's tomatoes, it's peppers, it's onions. Like it's almost like pico de gallo with black beans and avocado in it, kind of. It's delicious and it's healthy. And so, and it's a little something fresh, maybe if you've been eating really heavy or rich foods. So that's one that we love. We also do marinated vegetables. This was a recipe my husband's family has had for years, and it's literally just vegetables, a whole bunch of kinds of vegetables, all in a bowl, in a marinade of olive oil and vinegar, and it sits there overnight, and the next day it's delicious. I don't know. It's not hard. It's not hard to do. It's delicious. And everybody appreciates having vegetables. Everybody appreciates it except the kids, I guess. They don't really. But when I go places, no matter what the occasion is, I am always so appreciative when there are vegetable choices, because I know I can eat vegetables. So there's that. But the one that I'm going to share, my favorite that I made and I took some pictures of is it's marinated shrimp. And my mother-in-law, it's her recipe. She would sometimes cater wedding receptions and things like this. And this was one of the most popular recipes. And it's just marinated shrimp. And the recipe, I'll throw it on the transcripts, the show notes, the blog. I'll share it because it's a good recipe and it's super easy. And you just marinate it overnight, and then you put them on little toothpicks with a red grape. I put it on a half of a head of red cabbage, purple cabbage, I guess, on a bed of beautiful green kale. And it is colorful and it is delicious, and it's protein, it's veggies, it's fruits, like it's all this, it's such a festive dish. It is a little bit more labor intensive to put all the shrimp on appetizers, but if you want like the wow factor, this one will give it. It's good.
Few fun ideas that we've come up with. First of all, there are a lot of sprinkles at the holidays, so some ideas. You can take freeze-dried fruit or coconut flakes or nuts, pistachios again, crush them up and use them to sprinkle on whatever you need to have sprinkles for. Rainbow salads and slaws will look like Christmas confetti. Fruit garlands as edible decor. Spiced citrus simmer pots for natural holiday scent. Cookie painting with fruit juice, paints for kids, can be a lot of fun. There's lots of things that you can do so that you don't have to give up all of the fun things that you would normally be doing at the holidays.
And honestly, this stuff, guys, just Google it. You will find so many amazing things, so many amazing accounts online of people that do this because that's what they love to do. I don't have that capacity most of the time, but there are so many good recipes that are being shared for free, that are healthy, that are beautiful, that are going to be, pleasing to the eye and good for your body.
Yeah. And that's the big thing. We can still be festive. We can be creative. But what's beautiful is that our bodies will feel good afterwards and we won't be crashing unnecessarily during the holiday.
All right. Before we close, we want to feature someone special, our friend Annie Toro Lopez, who brings so much heart and tradition to the holiday table.
Can you tell us what your favorite holiday food is that's safe for you to eat now that you have celiac? Like, what's your favorite thing to make?
Oh, well, it's probably really, really weird. But I do different versions of it. And my family, let me just say too, like I'm the only one in my family who really likes it. So, but I do a cranberry relish that's in a red jello. So it's
Ooh.
like cranberries and I like pistachios and I use crushed pineapple. And so it's like it's kind of retro. It's a jello salad. Oh, and celery, chopped celery. So it's really retro. It's a pretty old-fashioned salad. And you can do like a layer of cream cheese if you want. So like you can whip in like cream cheese with the jello. That I eat that then for breakfast for the next like 3 days. I love it. I know it sounds sort of weird, but it's like, give it a try. If you're I don't like super sweet things, but like I've seen it done with marshmallows. I like miniature marshmallows. I've never done that because it's just not my thing. But if you like that, like if you want a really sweet layer, that's kind of nice. And the marshmallows will just float. Ideally, you put it in like I usually do it in a round bowl. I used to have Jell-O molds, right? Remember the old Jell-O molds, like the little star on top? Yeah, I love those. So I don't have that anymore, but I just put it in a round bowl and it's really pretty when you take it out and it's got it's red and green and then the crushed pineapple is just like really good texture. I love that. I know that's crazy, but I bought a package of plain gelatin. And I got like and I got bovine. I got grass-fed bovine. And then we bought pomegranate juice, pure pomegranate juice. So we can use, and pomegranate juice is really, really, really powerful. So I wouldn't
Little
use
goes
it.
a long way.
Little goes a long way. Like I wouldn't use it necessarily straight up because it will take over, the flavor will just take over the salad. But it's a beautiful red. It's such a deep red that it can handle being diluted and still keep that beautiful color. So follow the directions for the gelatin on the packet and just it'll tell you to use apple juice or whatever, but just use the pomegranate juice. Or you could use I love cranberry raspberry juice. I like the juices though, not the cranberry drinks. If it says cocktail or drink, that means it's like got sugar and that kind of thing in it. Where if it's 100% juice, it's literally like cranberry juice sweetened with raspberry juice and usually apple juice. But always read labels, right? Always read labels. Don't trust me. Don't trust anyone. Always always read labels. But yeah, the gelatin, that's what I'm doing this year because I didn't want to get the packaged. I wanted to do it a little less sweet. I just don't like, I don't like real sweet things. So, but it's so good. Yeah, the celery, pistachios. Oh, and pomegranate pips. If you like pomegranate, I put those in there too. But I like the crunch. Some people don't, but I like it. I sprinkle a little bit of sugar I use the turbinado, like the less processed sugar. You could use coconut sugar, would be really nice. But I do sprinkle I chop up the cranberries roughly, like not, and then just put a little bit of sugar on them because they are tart. And with the pomegranate juice, I'm thinking it's gonna need, because pomegranate has a little tart bite too.
I'm curious. So that cranberry salad sounds amazing. Sounds amazing.
It's so good. It's different too. Like it's not just like cranberry, it's not just like cranberry sauce or, cranberry, you know what I mean? Like it's sort of a different
Yeah,
way to
it's different, and I think that would be a big hit with my family. So I think I'm probably going to try that. But as far as savory dishes, just out of curiosity, what's your
So,
favorite savory dish?
well, we're super, super traditional. My daughter is very traditional, so we're not really allowed to go too far outside of a certain parameter. I tried a couple of times. I've tried to introduce other things, and we are this is what we have. So our our Christmas menu, for as long as I can remember, like I'm very fortunate. I feel very blessed that don't ever remember Christmas not having prime rib. That is our Christmas meat. And so we've tried different things over the years to we've tried like, searing it up front, and then you shut off the oven and you leave it in the oven. And that's usually pretty perfect. I mean, if you can put it as hot as I do have a prime rib recipe in here, I know. It's my mom's recipe. I put my mom's prime rib recipe in my book. There's a lot of my mom's recipes in here. Um, but you put it in and you shut off the oven, and then it really that you really get that perfect end-to-end pink, which is what
That's
you want.
awesome.
Yeah. And then there's and my daughter likes green bean casserole. My husband makes the that recipe is in my book too. My husband makes the onion straws, the real thin ones. So he makes those, and he has to make them ahead, and he has to make a whole bunch of them because we just eat them as they come out. They're so good. And that is like so he uses tapioca flour for that instead, otherwise it's a really simple recipe. It's very simple ingredients. But the trick is with any kind of onion ring or onion straw like that is to soak it ahead of time in buttermilk. At least an hour. Longer is fine. But slice your onions, and then you can make your own buttermilk. You can just, if you don't have buttermilk, because just have buttermilk on hand, you can make your own. So just add splash about it of maybe let's see, I would say I don't measure this, but I'm thinking for 4 cups of milk, I would say probably about a teaspoon of either lemon juice, or you can use white vinegar if that's all you have, or apple cider vinegar is my first choice for this because it's a nice flavor. So soak your onions in that, and then my husband does this, and then he makes it's tapioca flour and salt and pepper and paprika, and you can put a little bit of garlic salt. Garlic salt or not garlic salt, garlic powder. Don't use garlic salt. Garlic powder can burn a little bit sometimes, so don't be heavy-handed with that. And onion powder, and so just mix that, and then take them from your buttermilk and put them into and I just sort of shake them around and get them coated, and then they need to go in oil that's 350. And remember, when you take them out, when they're golden brown, don't overcook them because the onion straws, especially, sometimes the onion inside can overcook. So you want to be careful not to overcook them. And they're going to be, if you put them on the top of your green bean casserole, they're going to cook again. and then they disappear for a while as fast as they come out. So you just have to plan on that for a while. And then and then they and remember to let your oil come back to 350 before you put in your next batch, because when you drop in a batch, it lowers the temperature of the oil. So let your oil come back. And then we use usually use a combination of oils. Honestly, it depends on what I have on hand. Avocado oil is nice because it takes high heat and it doesn't add flavor. Although I have to say, like, there are a lot of advocates for using lard and using, beef tallow. If you consume meat. So thank you so much for having me back. It really means so much to me. And I know this is a really special time and a special episode. And so it really means a lot to be included. And I appreciate it very much.
We are
And
very
happy
happy.
holidays. Happy holidays to you
To you as
and
well.
to your listeners. Yes, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful holiday, and take care of yourself. Give yourself love. You're always there for yourself, and you can always give yourself that love. So make sure you're taking time for you.
The holidays are full of color, but the best colors come from nature. So fill your table with red from cranberries and green from herbs, purple from winter fruit, and gold from roasted veggies.
And your body will thank you. Your holiday will sparkle, and you'll feel like you're actually part of the celebration instead of being sidelined by a flare.
From all of us at Autoimmune Adventures, here's to a colorful and joy-filled, flare-free holiday season. Enjoy the light out there, and remember, you are worthy of the joy that you hopefully are experiencing this season. Disease does not define your life, you do.